Welcome to Wild Wisdom. Today we explore life according to a bee. When people think about power, they often imagine size. They think of elephants crossing the savannah, whales moving through vast oceans, mountains rising above the clouds. Bees seem insignificant by comparison. A single bee weighs less than a paperclip. Its life lasts only a few weeks. Yet without bees, entire ecosystems would struggle to survive. Forests, fields, gardens, and countless species depend on their work. They are among the smallest workers in nature, yet they perform one of its most important tasks. Humans often measure success through recognition. Who receives the credit? Who gains the attention? Who stands at the center of the story? Bees offer a different perspective. Their lives are not built around applause. They are built around contribution. And perhaps that is one of the greatest lessons nature has to offer. Every bee has a purpose. Inside a hive, thousands of bees work together. Some gather nectar. Some care for young larvae. Some defend the colony. Others clean and maintain the hive. Each bee performs a different task. None are more important than the others. The hive survives because every role matters. Humans often become trapped comparing themselves to others. They wonder whether their work is important enough, whether their contribution is meaningful enough, whether they have achieved enough. But bees remind us that purpose does not depend on status. A bee does not question whether its role is prestigious. It simply does what is needed. Perhaps fulfillment begins when we stop asking whether our work impresses others and start asking whether it serves something meaningful. No hive thrives alone. Modern culture celebrates individual achievement. The self-made entrepreneur, the lone genius, the independent success story. Yet nature tells a different story. No bee survives alone for long. The hive succeeds through cooperation. Every bee depends upon countless others. Humans are no different. Every accomplishment rests upon unseen support. Teachers, parents, friends, mentors, colleagues. Entire communities often stand behind what appears to be a single success. The bee reminds us that independence is valuable, but interdependence is powerful. The strongest communities are built not upon competition, but cooperation. The power of small actions. A single bee gathers only a tiny amount of nectar during each trip. The amount seems almost insignificant. Yet thousands of small journeys create something extraordinary. Honey, pollination, life. Humans often underestimate the importance of small actions. A kind word, a daily habit, a single act of generosity, a few minutes of learning, one healthy choice. These actions seem too small to matter. But life is rarely shaped by one dramatic event. More often, it is shaped by countless small decisions repeated over time. The bee teaches us that greatness is often the accumulation of tiny efforts. Working without recognition. Most bees will never be noticed. No one applauds them. No one remembers their names. No one celebrates their achievements. Yet they continue working. Modern humans often struggle with this idea. Many people crave validation. Likes, comments, praise, recognition. There is nothing wrong with appreciation. But when recognition becomes the goal itself, disappointment often follows. The bee reminds us that meaningful work retains its value even when nobody is watching. A flower still blooms in an empty field. A tree still grows in a silent forest. And a bee still gathers nectar whether anyone notices or not. Perhaps true purpose requires less attention than we think. Creating more than you consume. Every day, bees take nectar from flowers. But they also give something back. As they travel, they pollinate plants, helping entire ecosystems thrive. Their existence creates value beyond their own needs. Humans often live in a culture focused on consumption. What can I gain? What can I buy? What can I achieve? But bees encourage a different question. What can I contribute? How can I leave things better than I found them? A meaningful life is not measured solely by what we accumulate. It is also measured by what we leave behind. The relationships we nurture. The kindness we share. The opportunities we create for others. Like bees, we become most valuable when our presence helps life flourish around us. Resilience through change. The world around a bee changes constantly. Flowers bloom and fade. Weather shifts unexpectedly. Seasons arrive and disappear. The hive must adapt. Humans often resist change. They seek certainty, predictability, control. Yet life rarely remains stable for long. Jobs change. Relationships evolve. Dreams transform. Unexpected challenges appear. The bee reminds us that survival often depends less on strength and more on adaptability. A sudden storm can alter an entire day. A single decision can redirect an entire life. The future rarely unfolds exactly as planned. Those who learn to adjust can continue moving forward even when circumstances shift. Flexibility is not weakness. It is resilience. And sometimes the ability to bend is what prevents us from breaking. A greater purpose. A bee's life is not centered entirely upon itself. Its efforts support the hive. Its work contributes to future generations. Its actions help sustain an entire ecosystem. Humans often experience their deepest fulfillment in similar ways. People find meaning through family, community, service, creativity, causes larger than themselves. The pursuit of personal happiness alone can sometimes feel surprisingly empty. But contributing to something greater often creates lasting satisfaction. The bee teaches us that purpose expands when it reaches beyond the self. Sometimes the most meaningful lives are not those that receive the most attention. They are the ones that create the greatest positive impact. The legacy of a short life. A worker bee may live only a few weeks. Yet during that brief time, it contributes to something that endures long after it is gone. Humans often fear the passing of time. They worry about how much life remains, how many opportunities are left, how many years they have ahead. But bees remind us that the value of a life is not measured solely by its length. It is measured by its contribution. Some people live many years without leaving a lasting impact. Others transform lives in a much shorter time. The bee asks an important question. If your life were measured not by duration but by influence, what would matter most? Perhaps the goal is not simply to live longer. Perhaps the goal is to live more meaningfully. What the bee knows. At first glance, a bee appears ordinary. Small, fragile, easily overlooked. Yet its work supports forests, fields, flowers, and countless forms of life. Without realizing it, this tiny creature helps sustain entire ecosystems. It reminds us that importance is not always visible. Purpose is not always celebrated. And contribution is not always recognized. The bee does not spend its life seeking attention. It spends its life creating value. Perhaps that is its greatest lesson. Every act of kindness matters. Every effort matters. Every contribution matters. Even when the results are not immediately visible. The world is held together by countless small acts performed every day by people whose names may never be remembered. Teachers, parents, caregivers, volunteers, friends, and in nature, bees. Most of them will never receive awards. Most will never appear in history books. Yet the lives they touch continue long after they are gone. Perhaps a meaningful life is not about becoming the most important person in the room. Perhaps it is about making the room better because you were there. The bee asks us to consider a different measure of success. Not how much attention we receive. Not how much power we accumulate. But how much life flourishes because we existed. And when our own journey finally comes to an end, perhaps the greatest legacy is not to be remembered by everyone. Perhaps it is to know that, like the bee, we left the world a little better than we found it. Thank you for watching. See you next time.